Ooh. Bienvenido. Mi nombre es El Trante. And welcome. Wait, why do you say that? Bienvenido again? Oh, yeah. To El franchise. With the... Wow, that was a great intro, Henry.
Yeah.
One of my best.
Good Spanish. Yeah.
Well, I got El Tren de. This is Alexa Pena Vega with Game Over, the closing track from Spy Kids 3D. Game Over, of course, starring Sylvester Stallone, Mar-a-Lago regular. Now, Henry.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show. Your show.
Thanks for welcoming me back.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. So, It's week 2 of 2 of Thorben and Ludwig's birthday spectacular. And we're here covering Spy Kids 3D, Game Over, as well as Spy Kids 4D, all the time in the world. Great On Her Majesty's Secret Service reference.
Really is. Made me think of you.
Definitely. Yeah. And I would say, conversely, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, while being the best of the Bond films, this may be the worst of the Spy Kids, I'm sorry to say.
We'll get to the rankings at the end.
We will. Sure. The rankings, to me, are clear. Now, right away, let's bring in our guest. This was a special request from, Thorben and Ludwig, the birthday boy and his great pal. Now, Ludwig was the birthday boy, we recall, right? He's turning 26 this year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Thorben was his pal who bought him Spy Kids. If you want to buy your pal a franchise on the franchise for $50, make it 4 movies and under, and tell us. And give us $50.
$50 for 4 movies and $100 for 8. Is that correct?
Yeah, and if you want to suggest something more than 8, find another podcast.
Yeah. I was never apprised of the $50 rule, but...
yes, you were. We discussed it at the beginning of COVID because we weren't going to be able to go to the movies anymore, remember?
Can I retract that?
Do you remember that $50 was to make us go to the movies, and then we switched it?
Course.
So you're saying you retract it because somebody paid us to watch Spy Kids, and you had to watch 4 of these?
No, I was thinking about it. I don't know if $50 to pick a franchise, period. I'm happy to do it for Mr. John Matrix 117. But I don't know. I'm waffling on it. I don't know.
All right.
I think they're getting us on the cheap.
I think we might have some institutional changes coming in the future. I'll keep you abreast of them. And let's bring in our guest, Henry. Ludwig and...
First of all, it is very important we say at the outset, it's everyone waits for this, I know. It's episode 255.
255, I'm sure that's a number of some significance somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I'm sorry. Continue with our illustrious three-timer.
Yeah, welcome to the 3-timer club. There've probably been a few of those in my day.
Yeah.
And Tim Allen is our guest. Bring him in. Shut up, Tim, right here. He's requested specially.
Round of applause.
Me llamo Cayete Timoteo.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Timoteo, yeah. Yeah, for me it was Daniel.
Hey, I'm glad to be back on the main show. And I got to say, Ludwig and Thorben, thanks for choosing me.
I like to call him the Thorbster.
Thorbster, thank you very much for choosing me. I do have to say, I do love kids' movies. Of course, Daniel and I, we love kids' movies. But the Spy Kids, not really quite as deep in my heart as, let's say, like Shrek. Henry, at this point, you got to admit Shrek is way better than Spy Kids, right?
I will admit no such thing.
I will admit it is.
I think that both franchises have two watchable movies, and I think they're about as watchable as each other.
You're sleeping on that 4. You forgot how good Shrek Forever After
I'm not
was.
sleeping on that. I'm counting that along with the first one.
Oh, you're insane.
I do not consider Shrek 2 to be a watchable film.
That's the worst take ever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't prefer either, but were I at gunpoint to have to do this again, which is entirely possible these days that I'd be at gunpoint, I would take Shrek. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
The cops pulled you over and they were like, "We're gonna write you up if you don't watch Shrek or Spy Kids. Which'll it be?"
do you know that?
First, if I have the option to get the ticket or points on my license, I would take all that. But if it's between that and him killing me,
What you didn't know was that it was a ticket to go to the theater to see all 4 Shrek movies and all 4 Spy Kids movies. So you got fucked over. You could have watched one.
boy, that's a nice ticket. That's a nice police stop, boy.
It's actually a ticket to Shrek the Musical.
Oh, no.
A high school production.
You know what, man? I'll take a bullet in the leg. If it was actual tickets to Shrek, he said, if you don't go see Shrek the Musical, you're going to face an injunction, a subpoena. I'll be like, can we work something else out?
Hey, Tim, do I get to go backstage, Tim?
What if it's a ticket to the theater, but you just have to watch the animation for Troublemaker Studio for 2 hours straight?
Are
That
they
little
different
guy.
animations, or
No,
is it?
It's
the same
just
one on a loop?
repeat. Yeah, it's like a gift.
I can do that. I can power through that. I don't necessarily have to be awake the whole time. So.
No, you have to be awake. They wake you up.
Oh, like a Clockwork Orange, like
Yeah, exactly. And you can't have your phone, Henry.
And the way they wake you up
You
is
can't
by
be on the you can't be on the Discord like you like to do.
yeah. The way they wake you up, Henry, is by squeezing your dick. So if you fall asleep, you're gonna get your dick squeezed. You better not fall asleep, bro.
No, they actually have your dick hole open like your eyes, like in a Clockwork Orange as well. They have one of those.
Your
eyes-
dick hole.
Yeah, your dick hole. Yep.
Wow,
Hilarious.
wow. I don't know. I think I'll take them. I'll make a move on the cop so he'll shoot me, and I don't have to go through any of it.
That's what I'm saying. Suicide by cop. It's the way to go, Henry. Oh,
By
I'm
the
sorry.
way,
That was a pre-air
as a
conversation.
As a reminder, Shrek 2, of course, has the famous scene where they do get pulled over by the cops, and the cops pepper spray them, and they, of course, call for a cop abuse. So Shrek very woke as far as abolishing the police, even back then.
Yeah, well, they see a green guy in the car. They're going to pull him over.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. America is very layered like an onion.
Just like an onion.
But let's talk about Spy Kids, the superior franchise as far as I'm concerned. But we really are hitting a nadir this week, gang. You'll recall that I quite loved Spy Kids and Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams. Tim, have you watched those in preparation?
Much like you, I watched them back when they first came out. I was, Mr. Film Student guy back then, and Robert Rodriguez I liked a lot, so I went and saw. I basically see everything, and I watched those ones and enough to watch the second one. I remember really liking the first one and thinking the second one was just fine. Like I thought there was too much of the island creatures.
Well, I skipped to the second one mistakenly, not knowing it was an excellent film. And I was intrigued by Spy Kids 3D Game Over when this came out. They came out in the space of 3 years.
Yeah.
It was like bang,
true.
bang, bang. And when this came out, I was working at Blockbuster, and Stallone was in it. So I was intrigued. And I think I put it on maybe once or twice, like in the background at the store, and never really watched much of it. All right.
Yeah, and of course, Dan and I are experts in the Robert Rodriguez kid movie averse, having seen both The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl in 3D, and we are heroes. Haven't completed.
We can be heroes. We're not heroes yet.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. I forgot about that. Spoiler alert: they become heroes at the end. Henry, now you don't have to watch it.
You should watch it, Henry.
No, you should not, Henry.
I think, Henry, you should be a Rodriguez completist at this point. You've seen all the ones that are hard to get through. Now watch the good ones.
Well, yeah. I have to say that Shark Boy and Lava Girl is much more tolerable than both of these Spy Kid movies.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I do think Spy Kids, so there are listeners on the Patreon that have heard us talk about Rodriguez kids movies before, Henry. I really hated Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and I don't think it's a real movie, and it's shoddily made. I still think that movie looks better than Spy Kids 3. I do think Spy Kids 4 is an improvement.
What about does it look better than the first Spy Kids?
No. The first two Spy Kids look like significantly better. Like if you watched like Shark Boy and Lava Girl and then watched Spy Kids, I think part of the reason I was able to like the Spy Kids movies so much is they look like fucking Taxi Driver compared to Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Right? That's really hard to believe.
I'm telling you.
It's yeah, well, Shark Boy and Lava Girl is almost exactly the same.
It's all green screen.
Yeah, it's all green screen environment, so it's just little kids running around in this thing. The technology is a little bit better than Spy Kids 3D, where it's just a nightmare. And of course, there is like that stupid 3D shit where it's like they're spitting stuff onto the screen. The amount of times that the screen cracked in this movie, I was like... I'm pretty sure also I worked at a movie theater, I think, when Spy Kids 3D came out, and I believe it was the red and green the red and blue 3D also.
That has been confirmed by the youngins in the Discord.
Yeah. So just imagine that on top of everything, that everything is red and blue as well.
All right.
Well, you got to admit, it was ahead of its time because there was a fucking 3D boom about 6 years later. And everything was in 3D. Like, Avatar. This was exciting at the time. It was the only 3D in town. All right. Yeah, I'm going to... This episode, I'm just going to say things and then wait for a response.
You talk, it's fine.
Okay.
Henry, is there like a 3D theme? Like, I feel like we don't encounter a lot of 3D movies in the franchises.
What are you talking? I feel like we cover 3D movies constantly because everything that comes out now is 3D.
Well,
so
that's true.
So yeah, we covered like Infinity War and Endgame. We didn't talk about the 3D at all, but those are 3D movies, right?
Are they?
I think there was the option to watch them in 3D.
I remember. Wasn't it Justice League had a 3D?
They all do. Yeah, Justice League for sure did. Yeah. Snyder, it will happily convert his movies into 3D.
But yeah. I feel like there's an era of movies where, it's with 3D intended. Like, obviously, the Spy Kid films were intended for 3D and fart smell vision or whatever. But like there is an error. Like I think that like one of those Resident Evils that you covered specifically was made where they throw the axe at the screen.
Yeah, it's 4. It's Resident Evil Afterlife. I saw in theaters with 3D glasses.
Yeah, and we covered Monsters vs. Aliens on We Love Kids movies, and they do like that ping pong ball thing at the screen, and we're like, oh yeah, this must have been intended for.
But
3D.
I think they all are now. Like they throw shit in like that, so it's if you're watching it in 3D, you see it. Like now we're backing off from it a little bit the past few years, but I do think that there is this weird period between like 2010 and 2016 or something where like literally everything was intended to be seen in 3D.
Yeah, well, we on the show we did what did? We did Jaws 3D.
Classic, yeah.
We did Friday the 13th. One of those was 3D.
Yeah.
The third one.
These are like old school things though that we're trying to like.
No, but I'm just trying to think of things we've covered.
For sure. I feel like every few years there's a 3D boom. Like there was the thing in like the 50s with like the Herschel Gordon Lewis's of the world or whatever, or like the Roger Cormans making everything in 3D, and then like there was a nostalgia for it in like the late 70s, early 80s, and then not really again until Avatar.
Wasn't the Kieslowski series in 3D as well? I'm pretty sure red and blue represented
4D.
Red and blue are in 3D. White was in 2D because that's not one of the 3D colors.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
UK. UHK 4D.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's talk about Spy Kids 3D. Game over. Robert Rodriguez is back to write and direct, gang. He's done the first two, and he made Once Upon a Time in Mexico, I believe, between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
This film came out July 25th, 2003. Happy birthday, Henry.
And you.
Yeah, it's our birthday week. Did you go see it in theater for your to celebrate?
I went after dinner.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good birthday. I remember my 25th birthday.
I was 16. I was probably just J&O, baby.
I was 25, and I was taken to dinner on Mount Washington, one of the nicer places in Pittsburgh that overlooks the city, at a very nice, expensive restaurant. It was very pleasant.
It's overlooking the city. What is it, a hotel or something?
It's Mount Washington's a place in Pittsburgh that, like, when it's a really, really high actual mountain, then it like overlooks Heinz Field and the city and all this stuff. It's like very beautiful spot, and you take dates there. I took a lot of dates there.
Were you on a date for this birthday, or was it with your parents?
It was with my family and my aunt and my sister, the whole gang, and it was very lovely. It's very lovely.
Henry, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If you could go back to your 25-year-old self, but nothing changes, you just re-experience everything again. You have knowledge that you are reliving everything, but you can't change anything. Would you do it?
Do I have not accumulated knowledge that I have now?
You can't change anything?
No, you have to experience everything.
I get it.
No, I would never do that shit.
But wait. Do I already like have my accumulated knowledge of a 42-year-old and like what I know now and like
but you can't change anything.
Yeah, you just
do it. Yep, absolutely.
No, are you kidding me?
You have to like you can't you have to experience all this the same amount of tragedy
events
and all the same amount of joy. You just have the presence of mind, kind of like to have constant deja vu. Almost.
So it might be a nightmare, you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, watching yourself descend into alcoholism, like, I mean, that would be my biggest, like, it would be horrible.
Yeah, but there's so many good things that I got to do.
Great, I'll get to fuck all the same fat girls again. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say fat.
I had good luck.
Yeah, I was gonna say
there were a couple.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question, Tim. I mean, it sounds like in a weird way it would be you could take like this Sisyphean look and it would be terrible, but then if you really just wanted to kind of experience like your youthful vigor and body and just the people who are alive, you could see them again and that kind of thing.
That's true. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see anybody. Everybody that's dead I'm pretty okay with.
It's because you're a misanthrope, but I mean that's different. I don't know, I'd have to think about that. That's a great question though. Yeah.
Well, Henry, also you would have to watch Spy Kids 3 and Spy Kids 4 a second time.
That's true.
Yeah. So
How
that
about
means
that?
that
Every time I've ever yelled at you, you have to sit through that again.
you mean like a half an hour ago.
Yes.
So that means in 2016, when Dan said, "Hey, I have this idea for a podcast," I
You
would
can't
not
say no.
I couldn't say, I don't know if it's for me.
Well, you can, and you did say that, and then I had to convince you for the next 4
Right.
months of our life.
I'd have to go through that again. Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that, Tim. How about you?
Yeah, I would redo it. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course
At-
you
at
would.
tw-
You've never had anything bad. You've been married since you already had kids at 25.
No, I didn't have kids yet. It would be like another 2 or 3 years before the first one came. So, yeah, no, I have had bad tragedy in my life, but for the most part, pretty happy. I'd redo it all.
Yeah.
I would sooner kill myself right now.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. Like, this isn't even me being like an asshole or like a depressive or something. I'm just saying, like, that is such a horrifying proposition to me that I would end my life right now.
It's an odd one. I mean, obviously I think we've all thought about that, like the going back, but I don't, always.
Yeah,
being
I
able
would go
to
back if
change.
I could change it. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
All right,
that's the move. Everybody would do that if you had.
How
future
about a
knowledge.
compromise? How about I've thought about this, believe it or not. I've had this weird ethereal thought. You go back, but you're almost just like a spectator on your own life. You're not like in your body, but you can kind of like watch it almost like a movie.
I'd like that. It would be sad and miserable, but it would be interesting.
Isn't
Yeah.
that what
I've
happens
had
when
that thought.
Isn't that what happens when you die? Like, that's supposed to be, you see your life flash through your eyes, right?
Yeah, you see it flash, but this is like real time. Like, you'd be sitting there
well,
going
I mean,
like,
if you
oh
will
my
spend
God.
that-
You'd have to sit there for months going like, oh my God, I have to sit here watching you try to date this person?
You'd be yelling at the screen.
Yeah, you totally would.
I'd be yelling a lot. Yeah, I don't know if your life flashes before. I mean, that depends on what you believe.
Sure,
But-
exactly.
Do you see
But-
what's on
but-
the screen? Because a lot of it would just be me watching myself on a couch.
Or what about the amount of dumps you take, or the amount of times you jack off? Like, you're
Well,
watching that.
you know what? I bet you can pull out of the screen when you don't want to watch. You can just kind of be like, all right, I'll let him do
No,
this.
But can I push
Well,
into
they
the
have the-
screen is what I'm asking.
They have the Clockwork Orange
You're on this
eyeball thing,
orange thing.
and on your dick also in this experience.
Jeez. Oh, now it's getting more and more awful.
You'd never be able to masturbate because anytime something hot would be happening, there'd also be like a young boy there. Yourself.
Yeah,
I'll be
you-
dead. I'll be dead, so I don't know if I'll have the ability. I mean, if I'm able to go back, and I'll be sort of a ghost, won't I?
So what would even be the point?
What if, like, when you die, the only thing you feel is horny, like, all the time?
That would be hilarious. Listen, the fact of the matter is, God is bullshit. There is no afterlife, and when you're dead, you're just worm food. But
Thank you, Jesus.
what? What do you want?
Oh, I agree. I was getting worried we were getting into like somebody here was gonna say they were like a fucking evangelical all of a sudden. I don't know what was going on.
What if I became an evangelical now?
That would be awesome. Probably be happier.
Yeah, very true. I don't know. Maybe I'll support it.
Nobody's happy.
Exactly. Maybe I'll support it. Be whatever you want. Join Scientology.
I tried. I didn't have enough money.
Give it another shot.
I still don't have any money. I haven't
Get on
earned
the-
any money in the last 15 years.
Oh, you're doing well.
All right.
Yeah, someone paid you $50 to watch these movies.
Yeah, right.
I know.
And 20 to watch them.
And this is the conversation we're giving them.
Way to go, Thorin.
You're not even pronouncing their names right. All right, July 25th, 2003. I said that. A budget of $38 million. The biggest one of the four. A big Bafo BO gang of $197 million. Yeah. Spy Kids 3D Game Over was the number 19 highest grossing film of 2003. It made slightly less than SWAT with Sam
I saw that in
Jackson.
theaters.
Yeah. And it made slightly more than The Last Samurai.
Saw that in theaters. Amazing movie.
Rewatched it recently. Bad. Still bad.
Saw it. I
Yeah.
saw your review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Henry movie for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see any concentration camps in the whole movie.
There we go.
Come on. Come on. Hey, you got those themes ready?
Sorry, I'm having some coffee.
Okay.
Oh, is that coffee? I was wondering if it was a Poland Springs.
Oh no,
I
have triple berry with me.
I got black cherry
Nice.
and coffee. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I would like to request a Poland Springs update theme at some point in the franchise.
Oh, that would be good.
History,
That's not a
because
bad idea.
it's one of my favorite threads.
It's a great
finding out
segment.
What flavors? Yeah, and I'm always disappointed because on this coast there are no Poland Springs here.
Really?
I can't get them.
What do you have?
I get like Calistoga.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's our Poland Springs basically.
No, you have La Croix, right?
Yeah, well that's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you have Polar over there?
Polar.
My preference right now is a Spindrift.
Oh, fuck
so-
that. I've had Spindrift.
I don't even know what that is, man.
Bro, you're good. They're trying to fancify the seltzer game and they're failing.
Can I get Schweppes over there in California?
Yeah, you can find them. They're
I like
not as
Schweppes
popular.
Can I get Bublé? I like Bublé.
Yeah, Bublé is here.
Yeah, Ellen's out there. Of course you can get Bublé.
Yeah.
What, Ellen?
Alan.
That's what she drinks and promotes on her show, so I've heard by the right-wing Republicans I work with.
Are you watching Ellen these days?
No, I was drinking it at work one day, and someone told me I should drink that because Ellen DeGeneres drinks it on the show. And I
Wait,
was like,
and they don't like Ellen?
Right, because
I thought conservatives love Ellen, even though she's gay, because she's a pain in the ass and loves George Bush.
Yeah.
Right, correct, but none of them can. They don't get over the lesbian thing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they can't get over that.
I'm so glad this is why you knew about this, Henry. I was really worried that you were like an Ellen fan. You like really like her dancing.
No, I find her obnoxious and grating.
It would be great if Henry was like, they were too hard on her. Like, if she doesn't want to speak to her employees, she doesn't have to. She works really hard.
I'm a big fan of The View as well.
Oh, yeah? Who's your favorite on The View?
Obviously, Joy Behar.
Yeah.
Behar.
She's one of our Jewiest Jews.
I have the themes.
The Razzie theme I'd love to hear.
Okay, of course I have two. There's a Dan's version and a Henry version.
I want to hear the Henry version.
Yeah, me too.
All right, here we go.
It's the raspberries, no razzmatazz. All we're lacking is a little pizzazz. Cause it's the golden raspberries. It's the worst of the worst, not the best of the best. It's pizzazz gone razz.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone. Sly to his friends, if you're nasty. You
mean Donald Trump, one of his friends?
Yep. He calls him Sly, I think. and all the pals at Planet Hollywood. He was at the nadir of his career at this point. He still had movies coming out into theaters in the late 90s up through like Get Carter in 2001 or something, and now it wasn't going well. Shit was going straight to DVD. He had made this movie that was alternately called ICU, spelled EYE, and also Detox. It was double title, both bad titles. And that came out straight to video. So things were rough for him. He was trying to get a Rocky movie going. Nobody cared yet. and he agreed to do a Spy Kids movie. And he ultimately won the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actor.
I was very happy. I saw that that he won that, and it brought a little grin to my face. Probably the biggest grin I had in the 4 hours of watching any of these movies. So that was actually pretty nice to see. I was happy.
He did defeat 4 other actors, but the Razzies made a note that he could have received all the noms because he, of course, plays 5 roles in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're on top of things.
Can we power rank the Stallone characters?
Yeah, sure. So we have the toy maker. He's the main villain of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's like 3 sidekicks that are like just in his head, right?
Yeah, they're like computer because he's in a computer simulation, right? So,
yeah.
Of course, we have Nerd Stallone, who's bald.
He's got a pocket protector, so you know he's nerdy.
Yep, we have Hippie Stallone, who has like a massive soul patch and long hair,
just like yours.
mine's not nearly that long, but yes.
It's equally embarrassing.
And of course, I assume this was Henry's favorite Stallone, Pith Helmet Stallone.
What was
Pith
this?
helmet?
He had a German pith helmet on, and he was like the military Stallone.
Oh, I've never heard that term, but
Me neither.
What is that? What? Oh, did I just make this up?
He's got a helmet
I guess
on.
Maybe you know a lot about Nazis. I don't know.
No, this is pre-Nazis. This is like World War One.
That's why you're not aware of it, Henry.
Look at you.
Well, I mean, I'm
Army helmet, I guess. Yeah, I didn't know it. What's it?
It's
P-I-T-H?
P-I-T-H. It's like it's one with like a point on the top.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, you're right. That's like a World War I thing. Good call, Tim.
Oh, jeez. I always assume I'm wrong when no one knows what I'm talking about, but good. Yeah.
I think you're, yeah.
Incredible job, Tim.
I mean, was that your favorite one, Henry?
No, I didn't have one. I mean, the worst one I thought was the hippie.
Yeah.
Who was the 5th character? Was he only 4?
There was only 4. I don't know
Okay.
who the 5th was, unless he was like a voice of something in there too.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Jeremy Piven. Piven had a bunch of characters.
The Piven had way more characters.
He was great. Yeah.
4 is really a remake of 3.
It's a lot of similarities, gang. All right, so let's talk about it. Spy Kids 3D Game Over. It starts off super bonkers, not expecting this at all. The first hour of this movie is a Daryl Sabara solo vehicle.
True.
What the fuck? Who thought that was a good idea?
He's got star power now, man.
It's so crazy that we get Junie as the like star of the movie. He's a gumshoe at the beginning.
Oh, he's got hard-boiled VO, baby.
He's got, and then it's just him and some other kids really feeling a lot like Shark Boy Lava Girl vibes. And
yeah, they were all people that auditioned for Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
All these other kids. Oh my gosh, it was like crazy and bad. And I have to say, like, most of these kid movies we watch, Dan, you know, there's something usually enjoyable in the first third. The second third is just okay, and then like the last third is like
hard to
torturous.
Get through. Yeah,
very hard. That's usually what it goes. I felt that Spy Kids 3D was the exact opposite of this. I loved the final third way more once everybody else showed up.
Because here's why you liked the final third, Tim. Here's another thing we're doing on the Patreon, Henry, is we're covering Royal Rumbles.
Yes.
And Royal Rumbles, one of the great things about them is even when they're boring, it's just a succession of people coming to the ring. So you get, like, wrestling entrances are exciting, right? They come out, they maybe say one thing, they walk, they have the music, and they strut out there. And that's really all the last 15 minutes of Spy Kids 3D Game Over is. It's like everybody that has appeared in this franchise gets to do a little run-in.
So it's like revitalizing every 2 or 3 minutes, supposedly revitalizing your interest.
Yeah, that's right. Because like you get bored of everything in this movie instantly, and then then it's like, oh well, there's Steve Buscemi.
Right. Yeah. And then and then you're like, oh, there's Alan Cumming.
Yeah, I was happy about that. Hey.
I have to say there was one moment that the whole movie was pretty torturous. I didn't enjoy it, but there was one moment that got me so much so I laughed out loud and it may have bumped me up a rating.
Wow.
Cheech is so amazing in this movie.
Cheech, really? He's barely in it, right?
Yeah, but that's what's hilarious about it is, Antonio Banderas, he flies away with he's working on this brain thing. And he's like, oh, I need all this concentration. And then it's like, sir, your kids need your help. And he just flies away like crazy. And then they cut to Cheech. He's like, hey, I'm their uncle too. And he flies away.
But that's an exciting moment for a long time Spy Kids fan, because he's been insisting since the last movie that he's not their uncle.
Yeah, right.
So that's good continuity. Which is something this movie fails at a lot, which is really weird, because Rodriguez made these in quick succession. It's a trilogy that he made in 3 years, and it seems like in this movie he doesn't remember a lot of the plot threads he set up in the first two, or he's just willfully ignoring them.
He probably doesn't, because he doesn't really, go through his movies with a fine-tooth comb very much, as we kind of established last time.
But he just made them. Aren't they top of mind?
Henry.
Not in this, because he's probably got his mind in Mexico right now, right? With Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Well, Dan, I think this goes to my theory that we brought up on the Shark Boy and the We Can Be Heroes. Is I really think that Rodriguez takes the writing credit, but I for sure think he lets his kids write a portion of the films.
Well, I don't think he started doing that until Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh, this one has a big vibe of Racer or Rocket.
I don't think it has a vibe from them. I think the vibe is coming from the look of the movie, just because the whole thing was shot on green screen, including simple shit like street scenes and just normal a car scene. Everything is green screen, so everything looks completely artificial.
Number 4 was throwing me off so hard because there was actual sets.
I know, and it looks so much better.
I actually had to. I'm not kidding. Once about 20 minutes or a little more into the fourth one, I wondered if it was actually Rodriguez and if it was maybe an offshoot that he produced. I didn't, because I hadn't checked beforehand, even though I assumed it was him. So I didn't pause the movie. I let it run. And I checked to make sure, because it looked so much different. At least
it looks competent, man. Right, Spy Kids 4 just looks like a shitty kids movie. Spy Kids 3 looks like a shitty movie that kids tried to make.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, that's how all of them look to me.
I don't. Yeah, I just feel that way about the third one.
Yeah, I felt the third one was when he made this transition into building his own studio.
Definitely.
In Texas. And that's where 4, it was I was the same with Henry. I'm like, did he direct this one?
Right.
Maybe he just produced this one, because it's not at his house, right? He doesn't have this green screen technology set up at his house, barely at all. But yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
So I had a big problem. We have to follow Junie in this movie. He's the main character, and I mean the fourth best of the 4 characters in Spy Kids. And
I agree. I thought I kind of said that last week, but I thought you were a little bit more on Team Junie than I was.
I am more on Team Junie than you are. I'm not saying he could carry his own fucking movie.
Yeah, but you know what was easier about this movie, was that all the shitty video games and levels he's going through were a nice distraction from having to listen to dialogue. So
dialogue's funny, man.
Yeah. I didn't really mind it. it kind of got us out of having to like focus and just it was endless action, quote unquote. And
it's
I
just
didn't mind that
you
so
know
much.
why you didn't mind this movie? Because it's easier to tune out, man. You can ignore this movie. And
Yeah, I can't really argue with that point.
Because there's no like it factor or star factor on the screen. Junie is the worst. He's 4 out of 4 of the Spy Kids team. But when Antonio Banderas or Alex, what's her name?
Alexa Vega.
Vega, or even Carla Gugino. I mean, you can't help but stare at those people.
Right.
Yeah, they
right.
got charisma, man, unlike this Junie character. That's why at the beginning of the movie, I was, Selena Gomez showed up. She's one of those kids in that opening scene. And I thought she was going to stick around. I'm like, I'll watch a Spy Kids with Selena Gomez. But she's only in one scene. She's a little kid in this.
Little
yeah.
kid.
Oh,
Yeah, you would have much rather Selena Gomez been the love interest than that other girl.
Well, I had a problem with that, too, because I was pretty invested in the last movie in
you were.
Junie's relationship with the president's daughter, played by the great Taylor Momsen of The Pretty Reckless. And I was very disappointed that we were just completely ignoring that storyline to the point where Christopher McDonald wasn't even the president anymore. And I'm thinking, what is Junie, like a fucking gold digger? Like this guy missed out on re-election and he dumped his daughter?
He wanted money. You saw he was doing all those cases for $5.
Yeah,
a
that's
case.
true. That's true.
Why was this too? Like he seemed to make up with the OSS at the end of the last movie. They got reinstated as spies. I believe Antonio Banderas was put in charge of the entire organization.
Correct.
So what is he doing like on his own as like a rogue agent?
Well, does this go back to the very first, like your concept of the show, which is that was that very few of these franchises are thought out and not anticipating a third installment?
Well, of course you have to think about that. I mean that's just the way franchises are, but I think that you usually get something a little more coherent when you have one singular auteur working on. Yeah, I mean, he wrote and directed all 3 of these in 3 years.
In 3 years,
crazy.
yeah.
It would be like if all of a sudden, like we watched like the Matrix Revolutions and like Trinity wasn't around and Neo had a new love interest.
Yeah.
I think this film really like suffers from like actor availability, which really felt like you know who's available? Junie. He's
right.
Let's
always
film.
available.
What's Alexa Vega doing though?
So
She's only in the last half hour of this, and she, to me, is the star of Spy Kids.
I agree with that.
And Henry, I mentioned this to you earlier, but I literally thought we were just going to have a photobomb of Alexa Vega. They show a picture of her.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything, by the way. I just looked up her her IMDb. Like, the year she did Spy Kids 2, the only other thing she did was one episode of All That on Nickelodeon. And the year she did Spy Kids 3, the only thing she did was one episode of the Bernie Mac show. So she's around, man.
I don't get it. It's like it's always either one of the couple of reasons, right? It's either that they don't want to act, or they're simply not getting jobs. And
they're acting though. Vega and Sabara, both of them never stopped acting. They're still working.
Okay, so they are still working. So then, yeah, I don't know because I agree with you, Dan. When she shows up, it's kind of like. It's kind of refreshing. It's kind of nice.
God, like you realize what you're missing. You're watching. Listen, an hour of this movie is a Daryl Sabara solo movie. I cannot express that to you enough.
No, it is. He's the protagonist for a good hour and maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah. So Junie, he gets called in by the OSS, right? And it's Mike Judge, who was the bad guy in the last movie. And now he has reformed and is leading the OSS again?
But we are led to believe that Mike Judge is married to Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
And she straightened him out, and then there's a sexual reference that he makes.
Oh yeah, what was it?
Yeah.
The Junie says, like, I guess your wife straightened you out, and she's like, I did, and then Mike Judge is like, yeah, she sure did, and she's like, behave.
Yeah.
Oh,
He implies like he got spanked or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Salma Hayek and pigtails in this movie.
It's God. Yeah.
I ain't complaining too hard.
It's too much.
So
I'm glad those are the pigtails you liked.
come on, man. You make jokes like that all the time, but I really don't think that it's warranted. I mean, I guess I make those jokes too. All right. Listen, what happens now? They throw him in the video game. I'm concerned about this because the villain of the film is the toy maker, played by Stallone, who was, of course, an archenemy of Ricardo Montalban back in the day. And he has been put into a video game by the OSS. And that's sort of his prison, right?
Yes.
Okay, why'd they do that? Because he seems to love toys and games.
Well, it's also interesting because not only
seems like
do they
it
put him
wouldn't
in
be
this-
a punishment to put the toy maker into a toy.
Yeah, they put him in this prison, but also they let him release the game. Like he develops a game. Junie's saving his money to get the game over.
Yeah, well, I was coming to that next. Now, how did he create this game in the game? Does he have computer access? And how did he develop it? How is it being marketed? How is it coming out? Who's involved in this? What?
Yeah, there's no guy behind the guy in this movie. It's all Stallone. It's
and what
odd.
game did they put him in the first place? Because in this, he seems to be in the game that he's going to be releasing.
Right.
Is he just marketing his own prison?
Yeah. Wow. These are profound questions, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know. There's no explanation for that. He just seems to be like this all power. He seems to have it's almost like he has power in the real world that people in GameStop.
It's a little like the Matrix, right?
I was gonna say that. Yeah. It's very strange. Even though he has no ability to come back into the real world. I don't know. But then again, this is a movie where we're only given Ricardo Montalban's head.
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban?
Monteball. Moneyball. Yeah.
His head
Moneyball.
was kind of a ball.
It really was just his head. Because they give him a power suit in this movie. They let Junie bring in anybody he wants in the world. And he chooses his paraplegic grandfather.
I can't. I mean, what did I say last week? I said it was so sad that we got to watch, is that real or is that, and now we get him in this power. Now it's not even his torso. Just his head.
The last.
This is what I imagine Zack Snyder wanted Lex Luthor to look like eventually.
In his green power suit.
Yes, yeah.
The last episode too was so funny because you both were predicting what are they going to do next? Have Ricardo Montalban stand? And I had worked in a movie theater while this movie was playing, so I had walked into the theater and seen and knew that Ricardo Montalban would be in this power suit. So I was really excited for him to stand and then get distracted by a butterfly and
what the fuck
away.
was that?
No, I thought that was going to be a key thing because
Me
it's
too.
a close up in his hand, and I was like, "Oh, the butterfly!" Maybe some. Then I thought,
I thought it was a messenger from the toy maker to try to lure him to the toy maker, but it was literally just a butterfly he was chasing. What is this movie?
I thought maybe it was a reference to the diving bell and the butterfly because he's paraplegic.
Oh, that's a great reference.
But it wasn't.
Rodriguez is a huge Schnapple fan for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he likes quads and Paris.
I like that Diving Bell and the Butterfly, man. That's a good movie.
Great movie.
Yeah, I like both of them, the Diving Bell and the Butterfly.
The sequel, The Butterfly. Yeah,
That would be great. They should have chopped that up in two.
the trilogy includes the Pupa.
That's the prequel.
Yep.
All right.
Right. All right.
All right. So Junie's fighting in this game with the grandfather, but the grandfather goes away. He's chasing a butterfly. Now Junie meets up with all these other kids, and they are beta testers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how'd they end up in the game? Is it the company that's producing the game that wanted to test it because it's created by a megalomaniac? Or was it Sylvester Stallone just making sure the game works? I don't know how they ended up in the game.
I
think the game brought them in because he's a cerebral assassin.
Oh, come now. That's just a Triple H reference.
Cerebral.
Yeah. So did you know any of these kids?
Me, no.
Anybody? I recognize the one dumb looking kid from Quintuplets.
That would be. I'm so glad you said no, Henry, because it would be
Thanks.
really weird. You're like, yeah, this is Larry, and this is.
I think you know that I wouldn't know any of these fucking
Yeah.
people.
I didn't recognize him. I never watched Quintuplets.
Well, you're missing out.
Which one's the Quintuplets kid?
The ugliest one.
So
It's the one
with
the
brains
one
and-
with the glasses over his head.
Oh God. That was real Shark Boy energy.
Where he's
right
like,
there.
I'm a badass. That was Shark Boy energy. I'm a badass. And at the end, he's like, in real life, I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
It's like it's the most obvious bullshit. Like, this is such a great opportunity to do a kind of twist where we're being introduced to characters and then at the end of the movie being told who they actually are in real life. But it's all like Rodriguez, the only thing he could think of is like, hey, yeah, the three of them are nerds in real life and they were cool in the game.
You know why it was that way though? This is a Wizard of Oz reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, each one of those kids has a different element that like Junie needs to use. Remember when they're like, my smarts, my strength.
It's
and
just
my
like Eyes
cool.
Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut's doing Wizard of Oz all over the place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right, Henry?
What the fuck?
You never
How
noticed?
so?
How about that rainbow store he goes to where he gets that costume?
Interesting.
He goes under the rainbow. Know what I'm saying?
Okay. I never occurred to me. I saw that you watched that.
Yeah,
recently.
and Kidman's name is Alice, like Alice in Wonderland. I think that's what they're doing.
Okay. Interesting. I thought of Jumanji, the rock versions. Because
You're always
everybody-
thinking of Jumanji.
I love Jumanji. What a great thing that is.
It is
because
like that.
Yeah, right. They're the opposite personalities of what they want to, or what they are in real life, right?
But that movie made some twists on it, you know? There was like the hot girl and the fat guy, and then there was the black guy and a white guy. Like,
well, there was some effort and some adults in that movie, so it made a difference.
yeah.
But by the way, these beta testers, Dan, who is you? Who?
Oh, well, that's who am I of the beta
Yeah.
testers?
Yeah,
I don't think I'm one of them. Who
Yeah,
do you
you-
think I am?
you're Mr. Cool.
That's the ugly one.
No, that's not the ugly one.
Oh, you're
Not
talking
with the
about
glasses.
Rez?
Yeah.
Was he
Rez.
supposed to be a Native American because his name was Rez?
Oh, man.
I'm being serious.
Oh my god.
That wasn't a joke.
Oh my gosh.
I did like this girl. I thought she had it. I think that Robert Rodriguez is great at casting little girls for some reason. The unfortunately named Courtney Gines, who, if I was on the playground, I'd only call her Gines.
Oh my gosh. Poor Courtney.
She was playing, of course, Demetra, who
Yeah.
was the new love interest for Junie
Yeah, Junie was into that Gines.
Holy shit, he couldn't wait to get up in that Giants.
He even called her a girlfriend. He stopped himself when he said, it's my girlfriend. I mean, friend.
And then she was like, "No, I am your girlfriend."
We've known each other for 5 minutes.
But didn't it turn out that she like doesn't actually exist?
Oh yeah, she was just in the game.
She's
That's
a
why.
computer program.
Yeah.
I
Like
didn't understand that.
I only didn't get it because I was like, that can't be the way the storyline ends. But it is.
This movie's confusing, guys.
Junie falls in love with this person, makes her his girlfriend, finds out she isn't a real person, and then is just like, oh, all right. Like, it never comes back.
He's gonna go back with Selena Gomez or the president's daughter.
He should be with the president's daughter. Come on. What are you doing? Don't be fucking around with this. I mean, the president's daughter, I know you're only like 12 or whatever, but that's the ultimate. Are you kidding me?
What about the
If I ended up with Malia Obama, I'd settle down.
Good catch.
Is she of age?
Wait, does Biden have a daughter?
No, but I'd totally fuck that,
Hunter?
no, what's the, yeah, Hunter, I'd fuck Hunter, man. No, what's, Kamala's stepdaughter.
Oh yeah, the model with the hairy pits.
Yeah, I'm fucking into it, dude.
I can't
Marinate
remember
my
her,
face in those
step-
pits, baby.
Oh my god. Yeah. I can't remember her stepkids at all.
Oh, you watched the inauguration, baby? I don't know why I'm saying baby so much.
Doug
I must be
Emhoff?
turned on.
What?
Yeah, Doug Emhoff is the dude. I love this guy. Doug Emhoff might be my favorite Jew in the world right now.
He's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I know.
First Gentleman rules. We're all First Gentleman fans here.
First Judelman.
He's the MVP out of the
He's
cabinet.
great.
I would agree.
He's great. That footage of him jumping up off the podium to get that guy who was heading for Kamala. You remember that footage?
Incredible.
Awesome, man. It's fucking. That's a good dude.
Don't hassle the Emhoff. That was a good joke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Thanks.
It was.
All right. So, eventually, what's her face shows up, Alexa Vega, Carmen. And, thank God. She lightens things up for like 5 minutes. And then they get out of the game, and Ricardo Montalban has to deliver this long, serious monologue about how the toy maker was his arch nemesis like 40 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And he makes the bold move to get Toymaker out of the game, which gives him, sentience basically, and corporeality.
Wow.
Or something. And
Nice attempt. I like the attempt.
thanks, bro. And he, but then it turns out it was a good move because, like, they just talk it through and then everything's done.
Yeah. Are all the Spy Kids in the Cortez family wearing glasses as references to the 3D glasses that the audiences
They
are
must
wearing?
be, yeah, for sure.
They need the connection. The audience needs to feel connected.
So I guess we got like 20 minutes left in the movie we're describing, and ultimately what ends up happening is there's a robot, a big robot, and he's gonna destroy the city, which is shot entirely on a green screen. It's like DC we're looking at, but it's like, it looks like shit, guys.
I don't know what it was. I was looking at it going, I hope they're not trying to replicate Washington, D.C., and I really don't know that
I
they
think
are.
that is. I at first I thought it was supposed to be some sort of virtual reality thing, but it doesn't make sense. Like, they're in the real world at this point. This is Washington, D.C. Why didn't they put anyone on the street?
Yeah, that's insane. But
It's
also,
a completely empty city.
Yeah, but also the robots can only be seen while wearing the glasses, right? So they're invisible, or are they like they only?
Does that mean they're actually not a threat to anyone if you're not wearing the glasses?
No, I think they could still step on you. You just get smushed without seeing anything coming.
Yeah, but there's no one there to get smushed.
There's
Like, why
nobody
couldn't
on the fucking street. It doesn't make any sense.
why couldn't they had like some of the thumb guys run around to get smushed, right?
That's a great call. That's good henchmen.
I would have been all for that. Yeah.
We bring in everybody else. I mean, Cummings shows up. Banderas and Gugino build 1 and 2 in this movie. Have like 2 lines of dialogue. Banderas gets 1 extra scene.
Fix the brain or whatever.
Yeah, he's working on a new brain. It was the 3rd brain in the first movie. And it's the 6th brain or something here.
5th brain. Excuse
me. This was the best scene in the movie, as far as I'm concerned. I thought Antonio Banderas was funny.
Cheech made me laugh really hard in that scene. I really did like the part where the suction cup fell off of his head and landed in his eye, and then he like licked it and put it back on. That was good.
I liked that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just nice. We're grasping for anything.
Of
watching
course
the movie,
we are.
So then you see Antonio Banderas, it's like a fucking relief.
It is such a relief to see Banderas and Gugino.
Yeah.
It really, it's like finally. Like, that's the thing with these Spy Kids movies. The first 2 would be fucking unwatchable without them too. Like, I like Junie and Carmen fine, but like, I wouldn't like those Spy Kids movie if the whole movie, especially the first one, if like the entire movie was just Junie and Carmen looking for their parents, that would fucking suck. But you've got Antonio Banderas there. That's a strength, Robert Rodriguez. You need to understand that.
Yeah, true.
And every background looks like shit in this movie. The whole, like, the green screen thing does not work. Every time you see a ground, it's pixelated, or a surface, or a mountain, or a tree. It's all just pixels and pixels, and it's not because it looks like a game, it's because it looks like shit. And I think Rodriguez thought he could get away with it at the time because people are wearing these fucking blue and red 3D glasses, and it renders everything else around it incredibly dull. Right?
Yeah,
like
right.
It even did this like once like they finally figured out 3D and they were putting out like Coraline and Up in 3D and shit, and it looked a little better. Like, those movies, like, still, the backgrounds looked a little duller. You're watching it to be looking at the characters and the things that are coming out at you. The only things that are really visible fully in a 3D movie are the 3D pop-ups. And so, like, I think he felt like he could just make this movie look like garbage because only the things like in the foreground are going to be looked at. Most of the movie is just like splashy, colorful backgrounds because we're in a video game, and then like the main character is like throwing projectiles at each other or whatever. And so, and like that's fine. Like the projectiles look fine, but like everything else looks like garbage. And watching this movie on a fucking HD television, like, I have, like, a 60-inch HD television. Like, it makes it look horrible. Like, it's one of the worst-looking movies ever made.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're all pretty bad, but since this one relies on that specifically 100%, it makes it even worse.
Yeah. So after the big roll call where we see everyone, Buscemi and Marin and Cumming and Shaloub shows up.
Did you like the part where they had like the graphics where it was like mom, dad, grandmother, and then Machete said Machete?
I liked that Machete said Machete, but I felt like it was the first font they saw. Paxton shows up as well. We didn't mention earlier in the movie that George Clooney is now the president in the Spy Kids universe. Mm-hmm. And he turns into Stallone. Did you happen to watch the bloopers over the closing credits?
Yeah.
You love bloopers.
I love bloopers, and now there was a blooper that was honestly my favorite moment in the whole movie.
So dumb.
Which one?
Kloondog. They showed Kloondog trying to do the thing where he starts to transform into Stallone. Yeah. And he like does it pretty well, but then he just breaks and he just says to the camera, like, "I'm pretty sure this is the end of my career, guys."
Yeah, right.
That made me laugh.
No, I get it.
It was more genuine than anything else in the movie.
This is all true. This is all true. If that had come at the beginning of the movie, bloopers at the beginning.
That's what they should just do, man. They should just film the Spy Kids movies and don't release the movie. Release the bloopers.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I mean, that's a great idea. 2 hours.
of bloopers.
How come Community never did that episode? The one that was just the blooper episode.
Just all blooper episode.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that.
That's a good idea for a sitcom.
Your production company, the franchise production company, should patent that and make just all bloopers episode.
I didn't know we had a production company.
Yeah, you guys are going to.
We were working on a Children of the Corn movie, remember?
No, it was Critters.
It was Critters. That's
remake?
right.
Oh, that's still in rewrite.
I'm actually working on a script right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks. All right. Henry, what do you give this movie?
1 star.
Yeah, I know. It is a 1.
Yes, concur.
I thought you said you were moving up a grade.
I didn't.
Okay.
Cheech made me laugh really hard, but other than that, I was like, well, this last third I guess, 10 minutes is enjoyable, but
It's still not in the rankings. It is not last for me, though.
Oh, it is last by fucking far with me. I can't believe you two like 4 less than this shit.
I like this more than I like other ones.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do
like I said, because I was able to. Dan kind of hit the nail on the head. I was able to tune out during the video game motorcycle car chases and all that.
And
kind of stuff.
that was, Tim texted me last night that this movie is exactly like Ready Player One, and I had the same sensation watching that car chase sequence. That sequence is in Ready Player One, and it is not appreciably different.
Really?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, the car chase is very similar. A lot of the game elements are
it looks
exactly
more
the same.
cinematic and
Sure.
it looks more professional because it's Steven Spielberg
right.
and not
And
some
it
fucking
has-
idiot.
But
But
it has Harley Quinn walking in the background too. So there you go.
yeah, and you get to see E.T. and Chucky.
Oh. And The Shining, right?
Yeah.
The Shining.
It's IP the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's almost as bad as this movie. Who's your MVP? Henry.
Carmen.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good MVP.
Yeah.
T-Dog?
I'm gonna go with Cheech.
Fine. I'm gonna go with Jine.
A girl who you pick someone who could not act with her face to save the day.
I
She has the exact
disagree.
same face
I disagree.
the
I
entire
thought
time.
she was. Listen, she's playing the role. She's a computer program.
Yeah. The
She's
dyslexic face. I like that. I've never heard that. A dyslexic face.
I thought she was good. I don't know, man. Who's your LVP?
Mine is Sly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair. Who's yours, Tim?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the kid with the bug glasses.
Yeah, the quintuplet.
Yeah.
I had one in my head, but you're right. It's Sly. It's got to be Sylvester Stallone. It is.
Yeah.
It is truly an embarrassing performance.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if he only played the one character.
No, it'd be bad. It'd be bad.
Yeah.
Did you see him do the
Anyway,
Rocky voice in the bloopers? It was so sad.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, Stallone really reminded me of the CW Flash as well.
He's just like Chris Klein in whatever season that was.
Not Chris Klein. No. Who's the guy from Ed? He's the guy who plays
Kavanaugh?
a different role.
Oh, yeah, because he plays a
Kavanaugh
different role every season.
Yeah,
right?
he plays a different role every season. He has a hippie version of his character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go with Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, who shows up in one scene in this movie as the messiah of the video game, making me want to end my life. But
that was odd.
Elijah Wood sucks, right? Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? People love him because he's Frodo or whatever, but Elijah Wood sucks.
He doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I saw him one time in person. He's really short.
Yeah, I bet. What do you like him in? What do you like Elijah Wood in? Like, what has he been good in?
I'd have to pull up
Faculty?
Letterboxd.
The Faculty. You're right. The Faculty is the answer. You know the way to get to my heart, Tim.
And he's good in that one. Radio Flyer, I think he's good in.
No. Radio Fly
Good
is one of
Son?
the worst movies.
Good Son?
I love The Good Son, but it's not because of him. Oh, he's good in The Ice Storm. I guess he was good when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't like him anymore.
He's good in The Lord of the Rings also.
I don't know. I tried to watch that Wilfred.
Oh, yeah, I didn't like that either.
He's tried his hand at serious acting lately in the last decade. So, yeah.
I watched that Come to Daddy movie. Did you see that?
No.
You should. It's a horror movie. It's a nothing horror movie. You'd like it.
Thanks. I did. I've heard of it. Yeah. No, I'm not. I wasn't interested.
He's in like a fancy house and he finds a trap door and he's like, "What's down there?" That's the setup.
I'm all right.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a bad movie. Next up, Spy Kids All the Time in the World. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, great. Glad to hear it. Now, time is the key theme in this film.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's anybody that's counted the amount of times that the word time is uttered in this film.
Why would you?
TikTok.
By the way, had a unique viewing experience. First time ever I watched anything
Time.
on IMDb TV. Did you know this was a streaming app?
I've watched one of those.
TimeDB.
Yeah, I watched something for the show on that. It was not particularly pleasant. They have a lot of ads.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it, but didn't enjoy the movie either. So
Right, it worked out.
for some reason, this 127-minute movie felt like 4.5 hours. Like
This movie was not
took me-
127 minutes.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of James Franco.
It was 89 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, these take a long time to get through.
No, they don't.
This
Yeah.
last one did.
It
This
didn't.
last one, I stopped.
No.
Like I had to stop several times.
So did I.
It took me a span of maybe 6 hours to watch.
Yeah,
this.
I need breaks when I watch stuff like this. I need a lot of breaks. I
guys
can't
are
just
wimps.
sit there. I can't sit there and subject myself to this. I mean,
I
try
sat
to
there
get
for
it-
89 straight minutes, baby. I even missed a line at one point fast and rewound.
Oh,
How about
Oh,
that?
I think it's
you love
out.
movies.
I'm a
Yeah.
spy head.
Yeah,
You love movies, man.
I gotta tell you, I don't know. Spy Kids is good. Like, I'd be excited. I'd be as excited for a Spy Kids reboot as I am for the new Bond movie.
Isn't this kind of like the Spy Kids reboot though?
Yeah, kind of pretty much is.
It didn't
yeah.
pan out, but I could see them doing it again. You know, the problem with this movie is you really do need the original crew there to like pass the torch, and you don't really have it. You got Vega, you got Sabara for like the very end or whatever, but like you need Banderas and Gugino.
They really should have established it too, because right at the beginning, when Jessica Alba's like, "I'm Agent Cortez," I'm like, "Oh shit, is that Carmen? Like, is Carmen
yeah.
recast?"
Very
and then,
odd.
and then later on, we find out that she's her aunt. It's like, wait, so this is Antonio Banderas' sister? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I didn't.
Very
understand.
little sister, you know. What do you want? I that bothered you?
Yeah, I was confused.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry. I was not confused as somebody who's been following the continuity of Spy
Well,
Kids.
Okay, all right, good for you.
I was confused to the point where I didn't think about it. But yeah,
Well, let's
Well, that was
talk.
my fault for thinking.
yeah, it was Tim. You should have let it go. Just let
I
it
have
go.
to say, as far as my thinking goes, too, I knew the Time Master was Jeremy Piven.
Oh, I knew
Entire
that
time.
too. Guys, I gotta say, whenever there was a Jeremy Piven character, I always knew it was Jeremy Piven.
I I fell for the one that wasn't Jeremy Piven, the one with the glasses with the Van Dyke goatee. I'm like, the whole time they up pitched his voice, and the whole time I'm like, is that Matthew Lillard?
Are you
like,
fucking kidding me?
Are you serious?
No, I am 100% serious.
You're dumb.
I knew.
You're officially stupid, Tim.
Tim,
Oh my god.
this guy. Like the Riddler.
Oh, shit, I might be dumb.
You are, bro. All right.
God.
Rodriguez is back to write and direct. Let me do this. It was released August 19th, 2011 on the smallest budget yet of $27 million, and it ends up making 85.6. Comes in at number 77 at the box office. It is easily the lowest grosser of the Spy Kids films, and it comes here between Something Borrowed, which was a failed attempt to launch Ginnifer Goodwin as a rom-com star, and Scream 4 made slightly more money than Scream 4, a much better fourth installment.
All right.
So this was the year I thought I was a comic book writer. I remember that year. I was working for Marvel and appearing at comic book conventions, promoting my comic book, Brink.
2011?
Yeah, like before we moved in. We moved in like late that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was working for Marvel until like June or something, I think.
No, you weren't.
No?
No, bro. You were out of Marvel within like a year of you and me becoming friends.
Oh, maybe it was 2010 then, or whatever.
2009, bro.
I just remember. Well, I was definitely working on the comic book because I saw Scream 4 on my way to a comic book convention.
All right.
Leave me alone.
I know. You got me curious. You know how I am with dates.
I know you never go on any. All right.
You're a real time master, right, Henry?
I'm a little bit of a time master, and I don't get Dan's date comment, but all right.
It was just a funny joke. All right.
I go on dates.
I know you do.
Yeah,
Jokes
bad-
work in there. Yeah. Bad dates.
Dates. Yep.
Bad dates. Yeah. Bad dates. Yeah.
All right.
I had a date recently with a girl who her picture looked like Gal Gadot.
Yeah, we'll never believe that. What are you doing?
I know. I kind of fell for it because I'm better at that. And when I met her, she looked a little bit more like Liza Minnelli's corpse.
Did she put filters on and
I think they were just
take shots at angles to make herself look thin?
Artfully angled pictures. Artfully angled.
They're dumb. If you just look at the first picture on dating apps, you'd think nobody is a fat person. And if you look at the second pictures on dating apps, you'd think 90% of all humans are obese.
Yeah, she wasn't obese, but it was at this point. It was 38 minutes though. 38-minute date.
Well, good. You got in and out. It's not even as long as an episode of 911 Lone Star Monday nights at 9 on Fox.
Good time. We sat out in the freezing cold on a barrel and a wooden table. It was a good time.
Did you throw her a kiss at the end?
No.
I've done that. At the end of bad dates, like if it's like an ugly girl, I'll be like, I'll throw her a kiss.
No.
It's bad though because usually it leads them on, you know.
Yeah. There was no need for that. I didn't want to do that. Yeah.
Okay. What was her name and address?
We'll call her Liza.
Oh, great, Liza, from Cabaret. Henry, this movie was put into development after Grindhouse. I don't know if you read that.
I didn't see that, no.
Okay, so what happened was Robert Rodriguez, after Grindhouse, owed Miramax, Miriam and Max's little pieces of shit. He owed them a movie, okay? Now, the problem is that Grindhouse tanked. It didn't make money. Right. And and Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein, I guess, because this is a Dimension picture, blamed Robert for the movie.
Oh.
And I mean, I guess they figure in their heads, like, if we just marketed this as Death Proof, the new Quentin Tarantino movie, they would have made some bank. But then marketing it as like a 4-hour epic, like, which leads off with like a 90 minutes of Robert Rodriguez, is less appealing to people, understandably. But I do think that they're full of shit. Like, that's a movie that got a lot of good attention other than money, and not everything needs to be a box office success. Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino are two totally proven commodities to Miramax, who have created hits for them for over a decade by this point, and created IP, created franchises for them, including From Dusk Till Dawn and Spy Kids.
Yeah,
and
that's not very fair.
What a piece of shit. So they get rid of Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is like, they've been bugging him about a fourth Spy Kids for a few years, so I think he's like, well, I could do that pretty easily.
Yeah,
so I don't think there's much in the way of inspiration behind the making of this one.
I couldn't tell the difference between inspiration and not inspiration, but sure. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
They did have fun making it, though, and a fifth was in development until the box office receipts came back, and they stopped working on it.
Poor Joe McHale.
Yeah, poor Joel McHale. This was nominated for one Kids' Choice Award.
Oh, I wasn't ready for
KCA.
that.
Mm-hmm.
While I get it ready, please, why was Joel McHale in this?
That's a great question.
I don't understand it, because you're a big fan of his, and I like the guy. He was working hard in 2011. Why would he?
He was
appear in
working
this?
on The Soup. His acting career had not gotten off the ground yet. This is pre-Community. By this point, I believe he had done a much touted pilot for NBC that was an adaptation of the BBC sitcom The IT Crowd, which they didn't pick up to air and was like a big disappointment for everybody involved. I think he was offered a role in a movie and he took it.
That's odd. All right, here we go.
It's the Kids' Choice Awards. It's KCA to you, but it's the kids making the choice, yeah.
Yeah, Alba. I'll tell you what, she got nominated for Best Butt Kicker.
Yeah.
All right, and they weren't dividing this by male and female at this point. It was just Best Butt Kicker. Mm-hmm. She lost, I'm sorry to say. All right. The winner was Taylor Lautner, a great butt kicker. Shark Boy himself. And I'll tell you what, the other noms were Tom Cruise, and this one's just for you, Tim, from wrestling, nominated for Best Butt Kicker that year at the Kids' Choice Awards, the great Kelly Kelly.
Oh, that's more for Logan than for
I
me,
know.
But
she was a 19-year-old female wrestler at the time, Henry.
yeah, I think we're going to be talking about her this week, D-Train, right?
We are. Quite a butt kicker. Let her kick my butt. Yeah. All right. So we've got a new family here. It opens with Alba on a spy mission. Now, Jessica Alba, is this our first time covering her on the franchise?
Boy, I feel, unless she was in some shitty horror movie in the aughts, I feel like it probably is.
Yeah, so, I mean, she was a big deal in, the mid-aughts.
She was.
She had done that Dark Angel show with James Cameron, which really made her a star, and then they started giving her movies after that got canceled. So, there was Into the Blue, this is off the dome. What were some of the others? She was Sue Storm in the two Fantastic Four movies.
The Eye, sure. There was The Great Honey, which is a movie I've touted a lot on the show.
The Love Guru.
Yeah, see, that was the end to me.
She's in that?
Yeah, she is. She's the female lead in that movie. And I really think that was a bad move for her at the time, because even when she was like a big star, she took the role as the female lead in Good Luck Chuck, which was a Dane Cook vehicle.
Nice.
So on the one hand, I can't blame her for doing that because this was during a period where we are literally only making movies for young men. Like comedy-wise. They are only making comedies for young men. So, like, if a woman wants to appear in a mainstream comedy, she just has to be the dumb love interest to, like, some dumb guy. So, like, Adam Sandler around this time got people like Winona Ryder and Jennifer Aniston to appear as his love interest, and Jessica Alba was in this movie. But I remember at the time thinking it was a shitty move for her because it's a Dane Cook vehicle. No one's ever going to think of that movie as being a Jessica Alba movie, and I think it lowers her star power to appear in something like that. And,
what was it called?
It was called Good Luck Chuck, and then it got even worse with Love Guru. Because, like, nobody liked that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Underrated. I kind of like
seriously?
Love Guru.
Should I add it to my list?
Definitely add it to your list.
I've never seen it. I'm adding it right now.
It's insanely weird, and especially if you like, it's Mike Myers doing a weird accent and voice, and of course Justin Timberlake plays a character named Jacques Lecoq.
Right. I know all this from the time.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
Mini-Me is a hockey coach, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's good.
Yeah.
It's it's about a Scottish guy who becomes an Indian guru who then
he's Scottish?
And then goes to Canada to help a lovesick.
Wait, so he gets to do his Scottish accent at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, I believe he's Scottish to start with. There's this really weird scene where they put Mike Myers' head on a little kid's body. So there you go.
Yeah. Great.
And Marisha Hargitay.
Right, that's his
mantra.
Yeah, I knew that.
I've seen her in 9 movies.
Who, Mariska Hargitay?
Yeah, Marisha Hargitay.
No, Jessica Alba.
Yeah, she was around, man.
Crazy. I don't. She was in The Killer Inside Me.
Yeah, you like that movie?
Let's see if I did. Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. That was a cool movie. She was in The 10. I don't remember her in that.
Yeah. I don't remember what she does in it, but I do remember that she's in it.
Jesus.
But yeah, these days it's pretty rough, gang. Like I'm looking at her filmography now, and it's grim. Yeah. She's in the Entourage movie as herself. She's in the sequel to The Mechanic. All right.
Franchise.
She's currently actually on a Canadian television show.
Wow.
Which is called LA's Finest and is actually a secret spin-off of the Bad Boys movies where I think Gabrielle Union is playing her character from the Bad Boys films.
Oh. Hey, you guys should know that tomorrow is her 40th birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Jessica Alba. The great Jessica Alba will be turning 40 years old. Yeah, I see that. April 28th, 1981.
Yeah.
And that was her release date.
She's also in 2 other Robert Rodriguez
That's the joke you made in the whole show, Dan.
Thanks,
I like that.
Thanks, bro. She's in the Machetes, which, by the way, we should really be covering the Machetes because last night to watch Spy Kids 4D all the time in the world, I searched it on my Roku, And what my Roku TV does is sometimes with the bigger franchises, they'll have them in a collection. So you click on the folder, and then you click on the movie you want to watch, right? And they had the fucking Machetes.
Interesting.
It said Spy Kids Zone. I clicked on that. They had the 4 Spy Kids movies, and then separately they had the Machete movies, and it said in parentheses, for older something, for adults or something.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That would really mess up my kids if they we're going to watch the Spy Kids. Let's watch these Machete ones.
I'm just saying, I think those are legitimate spin-offs. We got to cover them.
No, I agree.
Not right now, but maybe this summer or something.
No, yeah, we have a while.
You just have to wait for Machete Goes to Space to eventually come out.
I don't know that that'll ever happen. I know they've been talking about it for years, but anyway, Alba's our new mom / spy. Nobody else in the family knows about it, so that's a different dynamic, because even the dad doesn't. The dad is Joel McHale, who is working on a television... I don't know what Joel McHale does in this movie.
He decides after they have their baby that he's going to start a reality show
But
called
what's he
Spy
doing?
Hunter.
What is he doing before that? And how is he able to get that show in production and on the air in the space of 6 months?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, when you just have it, he's just got connections to the TV studio, and he just had a really good idea.
But what
Spy
did he
Hunter.
do before this? Like, was he the weatherman or something?
I think he was
Yeah,
the
I
host of
saw
the
it.
Soup. I'm pretty sure he was the host of the Soup.
Stop it.
That makes more sense. That'd be fine. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of would make more sense if he was just playing
Sure.
Joel McHale in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, because he's never around for his kid. It's very strange.
Yeah, and the IT, he finds out at the beginning that the IT crowd reboot or reimagining isn't going, so he decides to make the Spy Hunter TV show,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming is the inspiration for Netflix's Mindhunter.
What exactly does a spy hunter do?
Hunt spy, bro.
But why? Like, why hunt spies? They're not criminals. They're government employees.
Well, there's bad spies. I mean, half the time the spies turn out to be double agents.
But
right?
he doesn't know anything about spies. He's never caught a spy before. So
Yeah.
it's not like he's going out looking for the bad spies. He's just looking for a spy to hunt.
To talk to.
Is that what he's doing? This is an entire
Yeah.
program about him trying to get an interview with a spy?
It seems like it. I don't know. It's
In my
yeah.
In my mind, I assume the Spy Hunter show was formatted just like Cheaters.
What is... I never watched that.
You've never seen Cheaters?
No.
With Gordon Greco or whatever his name.
Gordon Greco?
Yeah, Jimmy Greco or something. The host got stabbed on this show.
What?
Basically, it's a reality show where you go like, "Yo, I think my wife is cheating on me," and then they do an investigation. And spoiler alert, they're always cheating.
So
Then they
it's like To Catch a Predator, but To Catch a Cheater.
Yeah. So then they show you like in camera footage of your spouse having extra relationship sex with somebody,
It's
and
just
then,
like Temptation Island, man.
and then you go and confront them.
Yeah. That sounds
And
great.
And the host one time got stabbed on a boat because of this show.
Good for him. Who's the
And they-
host?
I think it's Greco. It's something Greco. Gordon Gecko is from. I think it's
Wall Street.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're just naming characters from Wall Street.
No, but his name is like Cheaters.
I don't know. What was it? Bud Fox?
Joey Greco is his name.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is the family. We got Alba and the dad, Mikhail. We've got 2 kids and a baby. The baby's just a baby, but the kids are. Let's go through them. Rowan Blanchard is the older daughter, and I actually knew from Girl Meets World.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That really how you knew her? D-Train?
Honestly, it is until
You're not gonna admit-
last night. I did a little bit of Googling of this girl last night, Henry.
Yeah. You did some from our show. You did some "Are they horny?" research.
Yeah,
huh?
she is one of the great internet sluts now.
Really? This poor
Yes,
kid?
this poor kid.
This poor kid.
Oh my god. There is not an
What-
inch of Rowan Blanchard's body I have not seen now.
That's terrible.
I know.
God.
And she's still acting like she's not doing porn or anything. She just takes pictures of herself in like micro bikinis and posts them on Instagram.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's still working. She's in the current Snowpiercer TV show on TNT.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. And was apparently in a Leonard Cohen music video last year.
What?
Yeah, that's weird.
He's dead.
Yeah, I know.
That's even weirder.
Yeah. All right. So I knew this girl from Girl Meets World. I watched the first few episodes of Girl Meets World. I was, of course, a huge fan of Boy Meets World growing up, and was intrigued by all of the older characters coming back. Mm-hmm. Of course, one of those actually is a porn star now. The redhead that the brother went to college with.
Also, Topanga's canceled now.
Just because her husband?
Yeah, because of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That was stupid. They'll be fine. I love Jensen Karp, and I will defend him. Everyone is getting shit now just for being a shitty boss. Mm-hmm. It's not Me Too. It's just you're not a nice boss.
Yeah, canceled.
That's not cancelable.
I didn't say it was me. My point was I didn't say it was Me Too. I said Topanga was canceled.
They'll be back. Anyway, Jensen Karp and Topanga are a great couple. And I watched the first few episodes of Girl Meets World so I could see Topanga. And she was great. But the show was definitely for children and not for me. So I stopped watching.
So you only watched, the first season?
No, I watched, I believe, 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Henry, you ever watch that show?
I'm sorry, I fell asleep for a few minutes. I'm sorry. No, I have not seen Topanga.
What a shock.
Never watched Topanga.
What'd you think of Rowan Blanchard?
In Topanga?
No, I mean, in this movie.
The show's called
Oh,
Topanga.
I see what's happening, yeah.
Topanga 4.
All the time in the world.
Yeah, she's all right. She's just another kid actor. She's not. I didn't find her particularly obnoxious.
I feel like you tapped out of this podcast.
A little, like a half hour ago. Nothing too.
Jesus.
Not the whole time. The baby was annoying to me.
Why was the baby annoying to you? It's just a baby.
Just got flatulence too much.
Well, Henry, did you realize that this movie was presented in 4D, including a smell-o-vision thing where they gave you a card to sniff during the movie?
How does that work? Is there instructions on the card on which scene to then?
Yeah, I think what it is there are all these logos on the card, and so then when the moment happens in the movie, when you saw it in theaters, the logo would pop up in the corner of the screen. You'd scratch that one. So why? Okay, now I'm gonna smell a fart.
Yeah, why would you opt to scratch that?
We had to up the ante. We did 3D last time. Now we got to do 4D.
No, I understand that, but if you're an audience member, wouldn't you just take a pass on certain odors?
Henry, are you saying that you're not curious what that robotic dog's fart smelled like? Does it actually smell like a fart, or does it smell like oil?
Oil.
Henry, don't you want to participate in the theatrical experience? This is what people are clamoring for after being in COVID for a year. A whole room of people scratching a card together, smelling farts, experiencing it together.
Yeah. Also, Henry, you're not going to get activated as the next Spy Kid.
What are you talking? We were all activated. We were all activated at the end of the movie. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a Spy Kid.
Everybody was activated, it looked like.
Anybody that watched the movie, as it turns out, it took me 10 years after the release date to watch the movie. And so I was belatedly turned into a spy.
I think you're too old to be a Spy Kid, man.
No, I'm a Spy Kid. Hey,
he's a Spy Kid at heart.
What happened with the Spy Kids organization being shut down? When this movie starts, they say it got shut down 6 years ago.
I thought she was going to offer an explanation like child endangerment or DYFS or something. I wasn't sure what was going on there either, but she just said it was shut down due to budget cuts.
And it seems like it was shut down right after the third movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, when everything was going well. I don't know.
And what's up with the fact that she says that she and her brother were the first and last of the Spy Kids program? What happened to the Giggles?
They died.
Wait, that doesn't erase their existence. They were clearly Spy Kids.
No, but
They died of-
they dead, and
They
then there
helped
was only
save the president.
They died of SIDS.
But
whoa.
that's hilarious. Great Sid's joke, bro. Hey, I
Sid
just
Vicious.
shut the fuck up. I just the continuity is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they're trying much more anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as soon as Piven showed up in his goggles
Yeah.
as the
Wait, that was Piven?
right, I know. Yeah, you were confused.
To be fair, I watch it on my phone.
What?
Oh God!
You didn't watch this twice?
No, I did not watch this one twice. I'm
Henry,
not
he
required to
watches
watch it.
he watches everything twice for We Love Kids movies. I have no idea why.
Why do you do that?
I don't know.
I watch one for experience and then the second one to take notes.
Look at you! What a dedicated guy.
That's too
Unless
dedicated.
it's really bad. Unless it's really bad, then I won't watch
How
it.
do you have time to do all that?
Yeah, you
I
have
got all
children.
the time in the world, just like Spy Kids.
God, it's incredible, Tim. I'm not even kidding.
I'm not like just dedicated watching it. I'm sure I'm like parenting at the same
Did
time.
somebody say watch?
We'll watch.
It's one of my favorite time delivery systems.
Yeah. I'm surprised Kesha didn't show up in this movie.
TikTok. You know, it's a little bit. I was wondering if Neil Campbell ever saw this. Do you know Neil Campbell?
Me?
Either of you?
No.
He's
The soup guy.
he's a writer and an improv comic. He works on Comedy Bang Bang, but he has a character called the Timekeeper. That is
yes, I know the
he's this nerd who like wears a cape and talks about time a lot. And the amount of like time puns in this movie, I was like, I really feel like Neil Campbell saw this movie somehow and just like borrowed this guy. All right.
And made it funny.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't unfunny.
Oh, well.
Oh yeah, especially.
A lot of you people in the people, the listeners in the Discord and you guys now are saying that this is the worst of the Spy Kids movies.
It is.
No, I'm not.
I am.
Okay, Tim, I think this movie is significantly better than the third one. Why am I wrong?
Well, I just think that like this one feels more like We Can Be Heroes than a Spy Kid film, to be honest. Like, this just has tangentially the characters that we know and love from the Spy Kids universe tacked on at the end. It might as well just be like,
I
you
still
know,
think it's more of a watchable version of this franchise than.
Oh, wait. I amend my... I forgot. I did rank this last, yeah.
So why is this the worst one? I don't think this is a bad movie.
right?
I don't know, man.
I mean, it's kind of bad. I was actually going to give it a 1, but
Oh my god, you didn't give it a 1?
no, I'm gonna give it a 1. But I do think it's like on a much higher level than than 3D. I just think it's coherent and like Alba is good, and I think both kids are good, which helps.
No.
You think these kids are bad?
They're so nothings. Like, at least
Yeah,
the other
I mean, they're
they're
not
just-
necessarily bad. They're just... I'm ambivalent about...
I mean, compared to Carmen and Junie, these kids are nothing. Like, honestly, at one point when Jessica, it's Junie and Carmen come back, right? And they're like, "Oh, we need someone to help us. You know who we need?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck yeah, Antonio Banderas or your mom or
Yeah.
another Cortez family." And then they're like, "No, we need these new kids to be the new Spy Kids." I'm like, "Oh yeah, fuck. I forgot that we have to. These new kids are gonna be the ones who save the day." I was hoping like we would get like Grandpa and Grandma.
I'd watch
Show
these
up
new
again.
kids in a second fucking Spy Kids movie. I don't know. They're fine. I
don't know, Dan. You're fully fledged into this franchise, but you're not giving anything a rave review. But you're into the franchise. I'm a little puzzled.
I just
feel
think
like
they're watchable and fun.
So
like
you
we
should
do the
be
week.
giving them low ratings. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be giving them higher ratings.
I gave
right?
the first two a 3.
The first two you gave?
Yes.
All right. You were at it too, though. I recall last week.
Yeah, I jumped up. I gotta practice what I preach. Listen,
Right.
I think those first two movies are good movies that I will watch again. I think the third and fourth movie are bad movies, but I think that while the third one is an actively incompetent movie that shouldn't have ever been released or seen by anybody, I think the fourth one is a competent motion picture. We cover shit for We Love Kids movies that I think is like so much worse made than this movie.
Yeah.
It had a couple of lines that made me chuckle. It had a few good performances. It had Joel McHale running around, who I like. And,
Ricky Gervais.
I thought I liked Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
He honestly might be the MVP because
He's, of course, the MVP.
I was willing to.
Close on that, putting him as the MVP, but
Yeah.
then I just couldn't reconcile the fact that he appeared in this movie.
Yeah.
And
What do you mean?
it was
What, like
bothersome.
Ricky Gervais is some sort of bastion of credibility?
Nope.
What do you mean by that?
They're British. British people will do anything. Like it's the end. No. I'm being serious because Americans get in their heads that making movies and TV is some sort of beautiful art that can't be obstructed. We
Not me.
heard this in about 1,000 different monologues about how amazing people were during the Oscars last night. I want to fucking kill myself wanting that. It was horrible. Who was the fucking when I texted you, Henry?
We texted a lot.
Yeah.
Who are you referring to?
I don't know, some woman. They got like Reese Witherspoon and Renee Zellweger to get up there and go like, your work in costuming inspired me to have a life.
That was a new test. That was a new theme they tried to have the presenters act as though they knew the.
This is the worst Oscars ever, and I think Steven Soderbergh might actually be stupid now. I liked him.
Covering all that on our show. Yeah.
All right. So, what was I talking about? Why this is better? Ricky Gervais. Because British people, they just think of show business as being an entity. So they don't get busted when they decide to like host something. Like that doesn't take away any of their credibility or appear in a kids movie. Gervais has been doing shit like this for years. And one thing I have to give Gervais is he always gives his all. Like you see a lot of like big actors in kids movies just like taking the paycheck and going through the motions. Gervais is like making jokes. I think this is a better take on Talking Dog than Up a few years earlier.
Yeah. And to his, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't really like Up. But also to Gervais's credit, I know you haven't covered this franchise yet, but eventually, Henry, when someone else pays you to watch a bunch of kids movies, he's in the sequel to the more modern Muppets movie as like one of the main antagonists, and he's great. He's
to see that though. That's different.
He's really funny playing himself. He's not like a dog. But this, to me, I was gonna give that dog an MVP, and then the dog started talking. I was like, I don't know about this. And then it was Ricky Gervais. But then the dog fucking like. Sure, there's some like really cringe lines, but they're like the dog has like a couple funny moments too. Like, how can you not give? Who's the MVP if it's not the dog? Carmen? Maybe?
Yeah, it is.
Jessica Alba.
Really? She's kind of like a nothing.
Here's the problem with Jessica Alba that nobody wants to say. She can't act.
She is a nothing, but she's really like she's very into it. I felt kind of bad for her.
She's fine. She's a good screen presence, but she just cannot act. And frankly, after watching Jennifer Garner in 2 consecutive movies, Tim as this mom role on We Love Kids movies, it made Alba look bad.
Well, Jennifer Garner is a very good actress, though.
Yes,
that's different.
I think she's the best mom, Henry.
The best mom?
I think she's the best mom doing it these days.
I don't think I've seen Garner play a mom in much.
Oh.
You're missing out.
You should check out Netflix's 2021 release, Yes Day.
You guys did that, right?
Yeah.
You'd love it.
Directed by Miguel Arteta.
Yeah. A true auteur.
That's
He
right.
did. Why do I know that name?
He did Chuck and Buck and Beatrice at Dinner and
Oh, I've seen both of those.
The Good Girl and
that. I've
great
seen that
filmmaker.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
should complete his.
Yeah.
his-
So now you got to watch Yes Day and Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
About the second one, but yeah. All right.
All right. So, what's the plot?
Yeah, we're all right.
Piven is he got trapped back in time and he's stuck in some weird time loop that doesn't make any sense.
Actually,
Kind of like
question. Well, it's actually like Tim's question at the very beginning of the show to me, and then respectively to Dan about going back in time and being a passive observer, or not, or being able to change events. Right? We get a little life lesson at the end here, where Piven really just and the thing about all these movies is at the end of each movie, I guess because it's a kid movie, and that's okay, that the villain always comes around. There's never really anyone truly evil in any four of
Every
these.
single Spy Kids movie, in the next movie, the villain is part of the crew. I figured that out. The first one's supposed to be coming.
Yeah.
It's coming, and then Shaloub has a heel turn, and then by the next movie, both of them are good. We love them both.
You're right.
Yeah. The second movie, who was it?
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge, and he's the head of the fucking thing in the third movie. It's ridiculous. Stallone wasn't coming back for this shit, but he's good by the end of that movie.
Yep, you're right. And then at the end of this, it's the same thing.
Yeah, Piven goes back in time and sees himself, Jeremy Piven, as his dad. It's kind of the same premise as the 2005 science fiction film A Sound of Thunder. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that.
Heard of that.
You're missing.
Ever.
That is one of that is like the adult version of Spy Kids 3D. That's how bad
I
the special effects are.
Honestly, I thought this was the kids' version of Primer.
I've never seen that. That's on my new list. That I'm gonna of shit I'm gonna
Primer.
watch.
That's me and I think Nathaniel and I were getting on you a long time ago about seeing that movie.
I remember that you bonded.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything's good at the end of this movie, and they all become Spy Kids, and everything's fine.
Yep.
All right, what do you give it?
1 star.
I do too. I mean, was there anything else you really wanted to go through? I liked the Machete cameo. He shows up for 1 second in
Not enough. Michelle.
I don't remember it.
It's
frozen
when they're showing people getting frozen all through the OSS facility.
Oh, okay.
They show
All right.
Machete for something. He drops something and then freezes.
Yep.
Danny Trejo showed up for that.
Yeah, he did.
He's happy too, man. Danny, how many
Yeah.
how many credits do you think Danny Trejo has on IMDb?
3,000.
No, give me a real guess, and I'm going to give a present to the person who gets it closest without going over.
All right. I'm going to say, do I get a over-under if I'm close?
You can't go over.
But I can, okay. Oh, all right. 200.
Okay,
Ooh.
Tim?
I'm gonna say 169.
Henry wins. Danny Trejo has 413 acting credits on
I knew it
IMDb.
was huge.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Henry, I will give you. You don't want a BJ, right?
No.
That's always the easiest, but
Maybe an HJ then.
Not from you. No,
okay.
no, not from you.
I'll think of something. What should I get Henry for a present? He won the game.
Take it easy on me on your next pick for our franchise.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? You know what I'm picking. I already told you what I'm picking.
Yeah.
No, I think he's talking to the audiences.
No, I'm
No,
not-
he is
yeah.
talking to me. He is talking to me.
Yeah.
By the way, I do have a pitch for the next person to pay you to complete the kids movie trilogy franchises that you're going through. Do you realize that you've done Shrek, you've done Spy Kids? What's the commonality between the two?
They suck?
They're bad. Yeah.
Antonio Banderas, baby.
Oh, that's right. Puss in Boots. I did notice on my Letterboxd stats, I've watched a lot of Antonio Banderas this year.
And I want to tell you that he is in yet another kids franchise. He makes he's one of the main characters in one of the SpongeBob SquarePants movies.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that. Is he any other adult franchises except for Zorro?
Wait, that's a good question.
Thank you.
He probably makes an appearance in like an installment of something. I mean, I don't know.
He's
Banderas and Cheech, by the way, filmed scenes for this movie that got cut. I don't know why they would cut them.
I believe he's in. Isn't he in the Philadelphia franchise? well, also, would Lestat be a franchise because he's in?
I guess that counts. Yeah, and apparently he's also in the Expendables.
Oh, right, right. I would like to avoid Sylvester Stallone for a while if we can.
He's in Machete.
I like when we do Stallone movies because then the next day we get an email from Ryan Rebalkin going like, "What the fuck? I was supposed to be on that." I told him we'd have him on for Rambo. Oh, he's fucking Desperado. What am I talking about?
Oh,
he's
right.
El Mariachi.
Right. Of course.
All right. Anyway, Robert Rodriguez and Antonio Banderas joined at the hip. Great collaborators. Incredible. And this summer, he's going to be in The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. So enjoy that.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Yeah. So this is a 1. We all agree?
Yes.
Yep.
Who's your MVP? Gervais?
Alba.
Oh, you're going Alba. I'll go Gervais. Are you going Gervais?
Dog. Yeah, going Dog.
All right. And also give a shout out MVP to the Reddit page about Rowan Blanchard. And my LVP is fucking I don't know who's yours.
Piven.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, Jeremy Piven. I am so
Jeremy
glad that guy's been canceled. One of the great cancellations in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Boy, you ever want to watch something really satisfying? Go back and watch 1993's Judgment Night with Emilio Estevez. That's a great film, and there's a scene in that movie where Jeremy Piven gets dropped off of the top of a roof, and it's very satisfying.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice wreck.
Piven and McHale, of course, 2 of our greatest hair-plugged actors in one movie.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know McHale had hair plugs.
Oh, go back and watch some stuff that he was in the early 2000s and late 90s. You're in for a fun surprise.
Those are some very convincing hair plugs.
Yep.
Wow.
No, he was flat out balding, and Piven, I believe we spent about over 10 years with him as a bald actor before he tried to convince us he had hair.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah, fuck that guy. And fuck plugs, man. If you're bald, just be bald.
What are the ranks here?
It's so easy as far as I'm concerned. It's I mean, to me, I think the answer is 1, 2, 4, 3. But I preferred 2, so I'm going to go 2, 1, 4, 3.
All right. I'm going 2, so we agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 2, 3, 1, 4.
You think 3
1,
is
4?
better than 2 of the movies? You think Spy Kids 3D Game Over with Sylvester Stallone as the toy maker is a better movie than the first one, which for the first 45 minutes is largely an Antonio Banderas, Carla Gugino movie?
It had the least amount of dialogue, which was pleasant for me. And 1, I explained it in the prior episode, where 1, I couldn't get over the Pee-wee's Playhouse aspect of the production. So 2, 3, 1, 4 for me.
Tim?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, interesting.